Holy crap, we actually pulled it off for a change. Damn, I guess I need to stop playing with everything else now and actually do this. Gosh darn it. Big bunch of motherfuck. There, get that out of the way. What's up, World Wide Web? E-Daddy, your angry toy guy, and I am live here in the Creative Lab, Angry Guy Production Studio, whatever you want to call it. Hang on. And in all honesty, trying to get this in before WWE holds it or has its Hell in a Cell pay-per-view tonight, because I've just not been feeling it the last few days. So today I actually feel like it. Let's do it. By the way, beer is officially cheaper than gasoline. But still not cheaper than Mountain Dew. So tonight we're going to get rid of that hat. We're going to discuss the evil horde. We're going to take a look at everything. I'm going to give it a minute here to let everybody know I'm alive and running. Because that's just what I do. So not a lot of news on the forefront for anything toy-wise, even though there was some speculation that possibly the WWE Masters of the Universe line will be starting to be available before right around Christmas time. Still on the post or on the fence a little bit about it, but you know, it is what it is. As you can tell, been trying to change some stuff around in here, moving figures around, working on it. Oh. And I say, we're only an hour late. So for me, actually, it's not par for the course anymore. By the way, if I start running a show with calling Yeti's tattoo designs, don't be surprised. Anyways, so starting to get more and more of that down there cleared out. So we can add more and more stuff. Boy, it is packing up in here. Looks like I'm going to do like the top row, completely clear it out so I can move stuff up and put stuff in whenever it all arrives. Probably do the same thing back here on that top row. Get that done and up out of the way. I think there was something I was going to. Yeah, like I guess I better check something else before I. But yeah, it's coming together. Trying to figure out what the hell. Time everything actually freaking starts today. Kickoff show at 6. Show starts at 7. So yeah, we're good. Hour and 2 minutes to cover as much of Hordak as possible. Connection is unstable. Anybody watching this, I apologize due to it's the rain doing it to me. Yeah, check it out. Oh, there's our guest of honor tonight. So, that mess back here. See how fast I can spin it around. Trying to get the wall. Look at that mess. I mean, that's just boxes of stuff that's got to be gone through and dealt with. And good Lord, mercy on it. And I try to make as many hours a day as I can, but good Lord, I think for the last like month and a half we've done nothing but 90-degree days. So, let's see. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna say I was surprised this thing actually went live, so I still had like a few things out. You know, so they're sitting here playing around with new little toys and stuff. See how crappy my freestyle artwork actually is. But anyways, so as I was doing a spin around the room, we got a little glimpse. In fact, he's still kind of in the camera a little bit there about our guest of honor tonight. Hell, let's get this little butthole out of the way. We'll just do this. He's more ferocious looking anyways. Yeah, tonight that is going to be our topic of discussion. Will be the leader of the Horde, Hordak. You know, Hordak, I mean, he was already introduced into the. Good thing I carpet down here. You know, he's already introduced into the line, mini comics, golden book, stuff like that, before he officially got debuted in the Princess Power series. You know, at that point, it's like we did start getting a look at him, see what was, you know, we had a little bit of a look. I want to say for anybody, because then, you know, they start putting out the mini comics. I hate Halloween time because that's the time of the year where they have all this freaking candy. And I just got to get it because I love those. They still make them, those gummy Krabby Patties. I'm trying to make sure. Still not missing anything here. But like I said, Hordak had a hell of a thing going. You know, we already knew a little bit about him ahead of time before he got introduced in. Because like I said, originally he was introduced in the 83 mini comics. Picked as a ruthless, power-hungry technomancer. He's hell-bent on universal domination. Could create monstrous creatures to do his bidding. using science and sorcery. Commanded a massive army of Horde troopers. Other than the fact that not much was known about him, they didn't have much of a story for him really at that point. Only thing that's really known was he was an ancient being and participated in the construction of the central tower of Eternia. Among many of the transformations he could manifest, of course, there was his hurricane powers, and we're going to take a look at the Hurricane Hordak definitely here later on in the show. Arm could also transform into a cannon, which could fire a cannonball mace. It's really funny to me. I'm taking a stop and look here. When it came to the classics figure, when Mattel did him in the blue, they made sure to include, where he could have that robotic hand almost, or robotic hand, and then that way you could take it off and it'd be transforming into the cannon. You got the gray feller here, and he actually has like both hands and all that. So, it's kind of weird because when they did the Hordak toy wise, they made sure he had the he had the gray look, he had the cannon arm and all that. We'll get more of that later. Let's see. When he finally did enter the central tower, a buzzsaw weapon formed that could burst from his chest and decimate anything in his path. Also developed a kinetic shield that allowed him to deflect blows from his enemies. And even though his former pupil had betrayed him, we're talking about old Bonehead, they occasionally formed an uneasy alliance. Now, one of the things that you never hardly saw except for in the mini comics, and it was the Leech, the master of power suction unleashed. He had the ability to grow to enormous size. I've seen him turn into a rocket, ships, turn his arm into, multiple objects. With the exception of that mini comic, never saw him grow humongous size, because hell, if he was an ancient being, why didn't he deal with Procrustes if he was trying to take over Eternia so badly? Why didn't he take care of Megator and Titus? Just saying. Now, the 83 Golden Books did shed some much needed light on the student-teacher relationship. When Horde invaded Etheria, they discovered a mineral named Etheramite. Young Eternian wished to learn its secrets. Keldor! Hordak took him under his wing. The young man turned into Skeletor, attempting to harness the power of the Etheramite. Hordak was eventually betrayed by Skeletor and fled to Etheria to conquer it himself. So he left him behind somewhere. Basically said, screw you, dude. You out. We're going to do this ourselves. I don't need your... The 83 Ladybird books only had minor deviations from prior canons. He basically ruled Etheria from within the Doom Tower located deep inside the Fright Zone. Let's see. The 84 UK World Annuals was similar to other portrayals. He could transform his arm into a flamethrower, magnet sword, chainsaw, a fan, etc. On and on and on. I honestly think there's like 10 or 12 different things they listed that his arm would actually transform into. It was really kind of messed up. How did I set that? Oh, I tried to set that over while I was messing with the tattoo gun. I'm going to tattoo right on the side of my head. Fuck you, Super 7. one of these days. Mark my words, watch. Oh, let's see here. All right, the 84 German audio plays had their own unique take on Hordak's history. Basically, while he's visiting numerous worlds, Hordak befriended a wizard named Gustavos, who gave him a ring to call and control the demon Modulok. We covered that in the Modulok episode. Later, he and his horde returned to Eternia in secret and rescued Skeletor from certain death. He allied himself with his former pupil and assumed the role of Skeletor's consultant and right hand. Okay. Why? Dude could seriously probably just whip Skeletor's ass. Hordak did attempt to unseat Skeletor's authority on several occasions, but eventually gave in. Much like the rest of Skeletor's henchmen, he also criticized Skeletor's plans and often hoped for their failure. Biding his time, he accepted Skeletor's command but plotted to overthrow him once Eternia was conquered. Guess he never made that far. The 84 German Interpart Condor comics was unlike other portrayals, well, except for one. He resided inside the Fright Zone on a gruesome world that was not Etheria. Upon deciding to conquer Etheria, Hordak traveled there by a time gate that only he could create. During the Horde's first encounter with the Masters, he allied himself with Evil Lyn, because him and Skeletor were bitter enemies. Also, in that same set of comics, he damn near destroyed Grayskull when he sucked the stones into his own dimension using the Maw of the Juggernaut. I may have to look at it and see what the hell that thing is, because that just got me really curious. Okay, what an artifact, device, or weapon. Oh, in this show, can we actually try to learn something? Myself included. Okay, it wasn't a vehicle. Location, no. Spells and magic. For some reason, that sounds a little bit more likely. And no sign of it. Damn, that's a shocker. It's actually not in here. So maybe somebody at some point in time would tell me what the hell that thing actually is. So finally we get him introduced in the Filmation Pop series. We actually get to see him on the screen. And here we get this metallic pig voice. But in the Pop series, it says early in his life he was trained in sorcery by an Etherean magician, Noah. Later rejected the magic in favor of science that led the Horde Empire's attempted conquest of Eternia from his base of operations on Snake Mountain. Even though he failed, Any of us that watch Secret Sword, we know this next part. He did manage to kidnap Princess Adora from the royal family and escape to Etheria, but he did leave behind Skeletor, Hordak along with Shadow Weaver, and Chakra. Raised Adora as a member of the evil Horde in the Fright Zone there in Etheria. And even though he was cruel and feared, he hid his evil side from Adora and actually showed some fatherly affection towards her. As we know, He-Man showed up, Prince Adam showed up, whichever one of the two. Showed Adora the truth. She found out the real truth. So he would return, Hordak would return to Eternia in order to pursue Adora because he considered her a traitor after her defection. Briefly succeeded, but Skeletor and his henchmen basically tossed him through the portal back to Etheria. They kept Adora for themselves. He was frequently betrayed by various henchmen, some who sided with his former student Skeletor. On the other hand, he was cruel to his men, often dropping them through trap doors. Hordak and Skeletor did maintain a mutual enmity throughout the Filmation animated series. Only Imp was loyal to Hordak, and the pair were shown to have a close, trusting relationship. It's also shown in the Filmation Pop series that Prince Zed, who was Horde Prime's son, referred to as Hordak's nephew, establishing that Horde Prime and Hordak were in fact brothers. Alright, well, we'll take a brief time out of the read-along. Now, I didn't have a regular Horde or a regular Hordak, but I did manage to pick up a Hurricane Hordak. Believe it or not, the end of the arm piece is actually a little chewed on where the thing was, but still operates pretty cool. Now, the last Hordak I had, regular one, saw-headed. Really not that bad looking, honestly. You could always take that out, have a regular Hordak, cannon arm and all that. But, you know, this is the way they depict him in the mini comics and how he originally was. We never did get the blue version of a toy. Not until Super 7 did theirs and all. Since it looks like the version. You know, got the bow, which came with the normal gray one. That he did look much like the Filmation version. Super 7, they gave us the thing for the cannon, which you pop off. He still has his regular hand. Pop back on. There you go. We got his cannon arm. So many ways they really could have done better with this, but it is what it is. I think we might have some more Super 7 stuff and maybe some 2000X as this story progresses along. The 86 Marvel Star Comics, he was portrayed much like in other media. They showed another side of his character, though. Apparently, Hordak and He-Man both suffered amnesia, and the pair formed a strong alliance and friendship. After regaining his memory, Hordak had the opportunity to destroy He-Man and intentionally missed his shot in an apparent show of respect. The former friends subsequently parted ways. Right there, you still see the gray in the. You actually get to see the cape. One of the very few times really you saw the cape with Hordak. The 86 newspaper strips. It's pretty much consistent with his depiction and Filmation. He spent some time on Eternia's distant past as a cloaked, hooded Tylgar, or Tylgar, attempted to mine powerful mineral polydorite, which had been used to build Castle Grayskull and transport to Etheria, thus preventing the castle's construction. Like I said, he attempted, apparently did not succeed. UK comic mags expanded on and explored various facts of Hordak's character from other media, giving them his homeworld, the planet Academia, or Academic, whatever. Hordak, who was second to Horde Prime and conqueror of many worlds, taught students the ways of the evil Horde. Skeletor convinced him that a dimension of science existed. Hordak prepared to invade it. When undertaking the mission, Skeletor betrayed his teacher, leaving him stranded on a desolate moon, and Horde Prime sent Skeletor to invade Eternia. Determined to exact revenge on Skeletor, he built a teleportation machine and eventually followed Skeletor to Eternia, accompanied by his henchmen. Yeah, he despised magic, preferring to wreak havoc via scientific means. He built a plethora of machines that created Warrior Snail Stout, Extendar, and a Dragstore, even though Dragstore is the only one who remained in his servitude. So, in fact, what I've seen about Snout Spout and Extendor, I don't really blame them. Kind of surprised the Dragstore, though. Initially, he was unable to shapeshift on Eternia, but was able to unleash blasts of energies from his hands and teleport himself and others. Maintained two distinct bases of operations, the Fright Zone on Eternia and Doom Tower, also referred to as the Fright Zone, on Etheria. Oh, man, there's a lot here. I almost thought about making this a two-parter. Oh, the UK Princess Power comic mags expanded on the story of Hordak's conquest of Etheria from other media, and established he attempted to acquire Castle Bright Moon many times before their rival She-Ra, and was only able to conquer Etheria after combining his science with the magic powers of Shadow Weaver. Surprise there. The UK Twins of Power magazine. Hordak was sent to Eternia to collect one of the two halves of the evil sword. Horde Prime granted Hordak the shape-shifting ability he enjoyed on Etheria. It's basically been able to transform on Eternia thanks to the proximity of Castle Grayskull, which limited his powers. The 87 German Ihapa comics portrayed Hordak as another threat on the planet Eternia, who, while dangerous, was less powerful than Skeletor. Carried a crossbow, but he did prefer his hurricane weapons. Alright, here's a good one. 87 Power Tour. During the tour, it was revealed that Hordak assumed leadership of the Snake Men in ancient Eternia. No reference was made to King Hiss. He wielded a magical staff, which was identical to the ones used by the 5 Wizards of Good. He claimed the wizards had no power over him. So, we had that time, no He-Man, no nothing. Nothing of Hordak. Till the 2000X series came about. And he was a powerful and ancient sorcerer. His role throughout the series focused primarily on how his actions shaped Eternia's history. He defeated King Hiss and the Snake Men. He slew King Grayskull, and centuries later, his magic transforms Keldor into Skeletor. attempting to banish Castle Grayskull in the dimension of Despondos during the time of King Grayskull. Hordak and the evil Horde were imprisoned there themselves. Few attempts were made to get him out, mainly by Evil Lyn. Well, the Well of Darkness and Hordak's second sanctuary were eventually destroyed, dashing his hopes of an Eternian conquest. I guarantee you, if they had continued that series on, they would have come up with a good way for him to have appeared, which would have been awesome. Now, while we never got a figure of Hordak in the 2000X line, we did get like the statue figures of what he was supposed to have looked like. Right here. And about the only thing, yeah, he don't turn or anything like that, move. But imagine if it would have been a truly badass looking figure that we all would have wanted in the line. They did a great job on the sculpt and the design of him for this. And really, I really like the improved look of the Horde emblem on his chest. A little bit more detail on the cape and everything. So really cool looking little statue figure here of Hordak. And I'm guessing that's like, I don't know what that looks like. He got little faces on his knees. Would have been knee pads. Get over here. So get there to the classics. See the sign on the door.
What?
Read the sign on the door. You're going to have to wait. In the classics, in its attempt to mesh conflicting portrayals of Hordak into a cohesive narrative, the classics can provide new tales about his life. He was the second son of Sephiroth Kerr, the Horde Lord. Hector Kerr studied both magic and technology with his father and his older brother, Anilus Kerr. Through the combination of both, the family made themselves and their servants nearly immortal. The brothers did assassinate their father. Anilus seized the throne as Horde Prime, which was Hordak's brother. He submitted to his brother's authority. Hector applied to eventually steal the throne for himself. Concerned about that ambition, Horde Prime sent him away. As Hordak, he recruited many warriors into his service and led them to Eternia in pursuit of Hero. In a failed attempt to steal the Star Seed from Eternia's core, he cast the spell Separation to break the world apart. This forced Procrustes, the guardian of the Star Seed, to physically hold the planet together. But the spell created Eternia's light and dark hemispheres. Hordak's forces fought in the Great Wars against King Grayskull and the Snake Men until the armies formed a truce and built the Three Towers to share Eternia's magic. Betrayed to others, and the conflict resumed in the first Ultimate Battleground. There, Hordak ultimately killed Hero. He later defeated the Snake Men and turned his sights on King Grayskull. In their last battle, Grayskull destroyed Hordak's body but not his spirit. Then banished Hordak and the Horde into the dimension of Despondos. But before he left the universe, Hordak managed to mortally wound King Grayskull. That seems more right with what we actually saw in the 2000X series compared to what they put on here. Unable to return to Eternia for centuries, Hordak in a corporeal form took on Keldor's apprentice. When Keldor was mortally wounded, he promised to set Hordak free in exchange for saving his life. So he combined him with Demo Man, thus creating Skeletor. His scouts located Etheria, a peaceful oasis amid the chaos of Despondos. Invaded the planet, overthrew its reigning monarchs, ruling it successfully for many years. As his grip on Etheria weakened, the appearance of She-Ra, Shadow Weaver discovered a laser gate portal leading back to Eternia, where Evil Lyn had made it possible for them to return. And he did return with his full army and disposed a now ruling Skeletor, scattering Skeletor's allies and forcing the Snake Men into hibernation. And he built a new fright zone from which to oversee the invasion of Eternia. Also says intention to returning the Horde world and overthrowing his brother. It's not going to give up. When the three towers arose from Subternia, he attempted to steal the secrets of time travel from the central tower, but lacking the cosmic key to control the energy of the central tower, his body was mutated. He's now able to eviscerate his enemies with a buzzsaw that launched from his chest. Believing himself invincible, he recruited Snake Men, fought in the second Ultimate Battleground. Facing the combined forces of He-Man, She-Ra, and Skeletor, he met his end at the hands of his former pupil, but before he died, he grievously wounded Skeletor with one final buzzsaw attack, and thus, if I remember correctly, it was basically giving him that techno virus. Real quickly before we take a look at the classics figures and finish out with the 2012 DC series. He could disguise himself as the Dream Mistress. That was in the 87 Germany Happa comics. And also as the Shadow Jester, which he used to disguise, or used that disguise to kidnap citizens of Eternus. All right. We'll do the 2012 DC series first. They offer a version of Hordak's backstory with some significant deviation in the details. Apparently, he's millions of years old, murdered his own father, Horde Prime, and took his skull as a grisly prize. With the mystic skull by his side, he consumed the souls of all but one of the thousands of cosmic enforcers during an apocalyptic battle on Horde World. While his first victim was his own father, his appetite for souls extended beyond the cosmic enforcers to millions of his fellow hordemen. Like a cosmic vampire, he absorbed their life energies into himself, augmenting his own power. See, during Invasion of Eternia, he was physically killed at the hand of King Grayskull using the Sword of Power, but his spirit remained. Of course, once again, banished to Despondos. And he conquered Etheria. Grayskull magically made sure Hordak could not enter Eternia without the blood of Grayskull. Your Hordak is weak and unable to take physical form, bided his time for centuries, feasted on the souls of Etherians in order to gain strength and power, gathered a massive army, and saved the dying Kildor, turning him into Skeletor in exchange for kidnapping Adora. Made her an ultimate soldier, forged in his own image as Horde Enforcer. After she broke Horde's spell and reunited with her brother, Hordak was still able to acquire He-Man's blood thanks to Triclops and Adora, who was enchanted by an ancient dagger and regained his physical form. Grayskull's bloodline being the key to the powers of Grayskull, he did forge the sword of Horkoth in the fires of the Starseed. He was able to retrieve the eyes of Grayskull and conquer Eternia for a time, but he was betrayed by Evil Lyn and killed by Skeletor. Ultimately, and where's Kevin Castillo when I need him to prove that ultimately Skeletor is going to win it all. All right, so we've been looking at this classics feller for a while. Like I said, we got the gray look, and I'm guessing that's his little bat imp supposed to be with him. He had his staff and his bow. Looked much like he did in a lot of different comics and everything. Did a great job with it. It did give us the Hurricane Hordak, which you can basically you have to do it manually because the little thing on the back, it's got it there. Much like the vintage toy, you can't spin it. Get his arm to spin. Slight deviations from the other one, but all in all, not too bad. No, we're not going to look at that one yet. We did one that was said memory of Blue Shimer. We did get the blue Hordak with his imp. They gave us an extra arm so we could take off the cannon arm, put a regular arm on there. Gave him a staff. There's his robotic hand in there. I really like this version a lot better than the gray versions, only because mainly, I think it's because of, the cartoon, was always you see him in blue. I know he came in gray and all that, but me is like one of my favorites here. Used to have a loose one until I got rid of it, but they did a great job with it, especially with the imp. And somewhere around here, I still actually have the Comic-Con exclusive imp. That's the little box. Now comes to the Super 7 attempt at the Filmation Hordak. For the most part, they did a pretty good job. Except I can't get either one of the arms to pop out in order to go through and put the damn cannon arm on here. Not a real big fan of these ankle joints either. It makes it really hard for him to stay standing. Because in fact, they only go back and forth, but they go from side to side. Other than that, not too bad. And they made him look like he did in Filmation, in the Princess Power series. So it is what it is. But anyway, so that's our overall look at Hordak. And like I said, he tried and tried and tried. Ultimately, probably one of the universe's biggest badasses. Even though Skeletor would end up kicking his ass in some canons. He was a great piece to put in with She-Ra to give her that arch nemesis, much like He-Man had Skeletor. She-Ra could have Hordak. Made me kind of wish they'd go through and would have made something along the lines for King Grayskull. So why they could have included King Hiss in that one. That way we could have seen King Hiss up there on the small screen. But all right, well, hopefully next week we get back on our normal timely schedule. Hopefully. And hopefully we hear some good news as far as stuff that's coming out and everything. Because I'd like to see some new stuff come out before Christmas. But anyway, so with that being said, I'm going to hop off here, go watch WWE Hell in a Cell. I will be doing probably a review on that one this coming week as well. We'll see. But with that being said, I'm E-Daddy, your angry toy guy. And until next time, everybody go through and keep on collecting. If you don't, lions die. Don't need that happening. Till next time.